Hi, I'm Alex, and today on Live Loopers we're going to find out whether or not I can do looping on my Android device. Hey, welcome. A while back I made the switch to looping with iPads, mostly because they were inexpensive for me and they didn't require plugging into the wall, so I could just take them on the go and play loop music outside, which was a huge bonus and a goal of mine, a thing I was looking for. And when I figured out that you could network the iPads together with these little connecty devices and route the sound from one into the other, I was off to the races. I couldn't really get the looping to work with the flipping through screens and trying to do it all on one iPad, but connecting a few iPads together was the loop solution that I was looking for. And what I had always heard was that Android had some latency problems with its operating system. The Android operating system was too slow, and when you produced a sound, it took too long for that sound to get out, and latency. So people kept saying things like Android is a few years behind iOS in terms of music programs, but that was a couple years ago. So I was curious to see if Android had caught up at all, if there even were any looping applications for Android. I went on the YouTubes, and lo and behold, I found this video, which makes it appear to me that there's some kind of application out there that does something similar to what LoopyHD does on iOS. So, I haven't looked for it yet. I have no idea whether I'll be able to find it or whether it will work, but let's go look for it. And after about forever of searching, I have found Loopstation Looper, which is not the app that I'm looking for based on the video. There is something called Loopify Beta, which looks interesting. It's not the app from the video either, but I think I'm going to give it a try. And there's something called Loopstation Recorder. I don't know. I typed Android Looper app into the search bar to find these because that's what the video title was on YouTube. Here we go, installing Loopify Beta. So I'm quickly losing my confidence with this whole experiment. But after a few minutes of playing with Loopify, and I never recommend anybody getting a review from somebody that's only spent a few minutes playing with the app, but playing with the app, I have realized one huge fatal flaw in this whole experiment is that an iRig, yes, it can get the headphone jack to turn into a microphone and get you a direct line in. Not a particularly clean line in, but a line in nonetheless. But the little guy that works as jack out doesn't work at the same time. So that makes it completely impossible to hear what I'm doing or figure out if my loops are lining up at all. I'm just sort of having to press sounds in and hope that they're lining up with the other loops, which obviously is not a workable solution. I don't know. It's an interesting app. It's pretty easy to use, but I wouldn't be able to use it as is with this setup. So I got mighty curious as to whether or not there was a better audio interface for Android than an iRig. had Google right next to me, so I looked it up. And good news for me, Google said that the audio interface for an Android is actually an iRig 2, which I already had one of for my iPad. I always thought it was iPad specific, but apparently not. And so I'm gonna plug it in and try it. Now I am able to have a line in and hear audio as I go. However, Loopify does not pipe out the audio as near as I can tell. There aren't very many settings to mess with, but it does not let you hear what you're playing while you're playing it. It just loops around and then plays it afterwards. It seems like it's really intended as a beatbox looper, vocal looper only. I don't know that they ever had the intention of having a line in. I mean, it's interesting. Next up, let's try this Loopstation Recorder. Okay, I would love to give Loopstation Recorder a nice evaluation and see what it can and can't do, but no can do, because every time I try to do anything in it, it says the program has stopped, crashes, and kicks me out. So that's a no-go on Loopstation Recorder. Last up, we have an app called Loopstation Looper. All these apps have almost the exact same name. Well, so far, Loopstation is much better than Loopify. I very much appreciate the way that it lets you clip your first master track. Multiply and divide is pretty easy for getting your track length, the length that you wanted. It has a nice count in. I could probably use this. It still has the same issue where I can't figure out any way to let it play what I'm recording while I'm recording it, so I kind of have to just hope that things are syncing up because I can't hear it in real time. But still in all, I was able to make something. I mean, such as it is. But just for curiosity's sake, I would like to plug up my Androids, route them into the iPad, and just see how much better I can do using the iPad as the looper, and I'll still have the Android sound palette generating sounds, which on iPad, you can get it to play what you're playing in real time as you're playing it, so you can hear what you're playing, and that allows you to hear that there's serious latency issues, and that every key press that you press on the screen takes a little bit of a second to get there. You have to play music, you have to touch the note before it's time for the note to sound, which is very hard to do mentally. So that's as far as I've been able to get with trying to loop on an Android. Sort of pushes me back right onto the iPad, and even that, yeah, the sounds out of Android that I've been able to find are not great. I'm sure that there's something more that you can do with Android when you have a better operating system on a more recent phone that costs more money than this one. But I don't know. Open to trying again in the future. Open to trying different apps. If anybody knows of anything out there that I should try, let me know in the comments. Loop on.